Well, EFM is a program that's sponsored by the University of the South, the Divinity School there in Swanee. It's intended to help form more educated Christians by studying Old Testament, New Testament, church history, philosophy, and theology.
A lot of times it sort of seems as a jumping off point for people going into ordination, but the intent was not for that. It was for laity to find their gifts and to be able to work in the world and share their love of Christ in the world.
We've had dozens of people graduate from our program, and we can say without question there's been no one that has ever graduated after the 4 years that has not been systemically changed in a positive way.
There aren't enough beloved communities in the world, so how do we create those? And it's being in group with people where you know about things that go on in their life and you support them.
For 4 years, they pray together, they think together, they worship together.
You get to know people you otherwise would not have known. I have seen the people in our class for years in church, but I haven't gotten to know them. And every single year has let me get to know people better.
It is an intimate gathering. That faith sharing, it gets to your most inmost thoughts of what's so important in life.
One of the things that really makes EFM work is the vow of confidentiality that the class holds very tightly and very clearly so that we can express ourselves in the class and we can discuss that within the class, but we can't discuss it outside of the class.
Because of the trust that's built pretty quickly, you tend to take risks, you tend to open yourself, and you tend to struggle with the concepts that you're learning in EFM with people who are trying very hard to figure out their own interpretation of what they're learning.
We had a lot of diversity in our experiences and also where we came from. We were not all Episcopalians. Many of us came from a stricter tradition, and it opened our eyes in many ways and probably a better understanding of each other.
It put me in a room with people that I did not agree with, especially when I was a younger man. I certainly had my own convictions and I knew what was right. And then I got in a room with a bunch of people that knew what was right too, and from all other different perspectives, and it was just sort of one of those awakenings of it's okay. God doesn't want us all to think the same way. God, I think, delights in the diversity of who we are and how we see these things.
It helps us learn so much from different people about their upbringings, what they're thinking right now as they're traveling on their journey, and what we need to learn from them, which is always plenty to move along on our own journeys.
They're sharing something that, unless they give it to me as a gift, I'll never know it. They share it and it's like, wow, I feel that. Oh, that's what goes on. Now I understand it. There's no other way to get it. When someone shares that, what goes on for me is a moment of empathy like none I've ever felt before.
Those new ears, new eyes, new spirit gave me the ability to see the Christ in them as people that God made.
EFM helps you see through God's eyes better. It informs you, it transforms you.
People who go through EFM tend to be inclined to put their faith into action.
I even thought, would I go and do ministry? And one of my friends said, Connie, you're already doing it. And I went, oh, that's right. I take care of children in inner city pediatric clinic. I think I became better. And when I became frustrated, this is a child of God. Just get back up and do it again. This is a child of God.
It's given me a bridge between the intellectual side of my life and the incredible mysteries of the thin places, where sometimes when I'm lucky, I get to see a glimpse of God.
The magic of EFM is probably the Holy Spirit. We learn to pray together. We learn to care about each other.
Your leaders are really important. They had a way of pulling us all together, being able to discuss what you're reading and pull it together and do a TR. Oh, it's beautiful.
The magic is God is always there. It's when we invite God in and then we're aware of God being present. And it happens through someone talking often.
The magic of EFM comes when you have a chance to walk into your own thin places where we do get to see a glimpse of God in ourselves or in others.
Hope for the future, one of those things I seek all the time. But hope for the future is not really based upon me or anything I do. It's based upon the collective movement of a group of folks who move in the same direction. And EFM can take hope to a new level. It can give it legs. One can only lift 50 to 100 pounds. 10 could lift a ton.
The advice that I would give to someone perhaps thinking about coming into an EFM group would be to sit down with some prior members or graduates, come to a recruitment gathering, talk to people, look at the books, see whether the Spirit moves you in the direction of EFM. That movement would be, I really feel like there's needs to be a change in my life, and I'd like to have some guidance in making that change.
What would 8-year-old Bill Pratt say about present-day Bill Pratt, who has poured into and mentored hundreds of Christians along their journey?
I would probably say the 8-year-old Bill Pratt would say, "You ain't who I thought you'd be." I kind of like you, though.
He's not going to give us more.
I love it.